Hello, friends, and welcome into the new year. I hope you arrived here safely so far. Today, I'm going to address a very well known saying that goes, if you want, no, you need to be the change. You need to be, if you want to change, you need to be the change. And I would add to that today that the world is not going to change without you, without me. It can only change if we are that change. There is nothing else we can do. We can try and change things like moving them around, moving the deck chairs on the Titanic. We've heard those expressions before, but it can't change because we are the ones creating and experiencing exactly what we don't want, consciously or unconsciously. So, yes, the world can only change if we change. And that is why we need to be the change of what we want to see in the world. So we have to become that. Now, the good news is that we already are that. It's just that we're wearing this cloak, this veil, this overlay. I also talk about the static a lot because that's how I feel it often. It's just this like, "Ah," and it's very non-relenting. It just keeps going. So we need to leave that behind. And it's not gonna leave us just like, oh, okay, or you don't want to be with me anymore. Okay, I'll go. No, it's gonna keep coming back. And I know we all have experienced that. And then sometimes it's like you just want to throw in the towel because why is it still here? So I want to just share this morning. Um, I'm part of the Dr. Joe Dispenza group here in town where I live, and we decided to do a walking meditation together. One of Dr. Joe's walking meditations that is called Walk for the World. He created that a number of years ago, and you can actually download it for free on his website. I will put the link in the description if you're interested. I think it's a very, very beautiful one. I hadn't heard it for a while, and it was like, oh, this is exactly what I'm about, what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. But then you have somebody guiding you into it, so I can just like let myself be taken. And oh, it was just so, so precious. So, as you know, I have talked a lot about the new earth, and the new earth is already here, like heaven, the kingdom of heaven is spread all over the earth, and man cannot see it. Right? How often have you heard me say that? I have it on many, many of my videos because that is kind of what has really spiked me to really leave behind what the five senses are experiencing, because the five senses cannot and do not see, hear, taste, touch, smell, feel, and think what is here beyond what our five senses are aware of. So we must connect with the field. I sometimes use it as it's out here because it is, and it is also in here because it is everywhere. It's all there is. But as long as we keep focusing on what our five senses experience, that's what we experience. And as long as we are identified with that five cent world, which is the false matrix, we cannot change the world. Why can we not change the world? Because we don't have to change the world. The world is already perfect. It is already perfectly here, what we call the new earth, as opposed to the old earth or the old paradigm, which is what we see and which we want to change. I, I would suggest we do not try to change it anymore. We use all our awareness and consciousness to focus in on what our five senses cannot perceive. So we are going to the sixth sense or the soul sense. So what I have talked about on a number of my videos too, I did one recently, I can't remember the title right now, but I think it's called Relax, the New Earth is Already Here. Because when you get that, when you grog that, oh, the new earth, the earth that I long for, that I think I need to change all this for the new earth to appear, that's not true. It is already here. And if we can really get that on a felt sense level, like, oh, it's already here. Oh, see, I want you to get it in here, not up here. It's not, oh, it's already here. No, take now for a moment, take a moment here and just do this with me and just say to yourself, the world that I'm longing for is already here right now. Take just a moment and feel that. See if you can almost like have some antennas out where you start sensing into it. And what do you experience? What happens when you open up? It's like you open up your sixth sense, your soul sense. You consciously open up to tune into something that you can't see, hear, taste, touch, smell. But when you just go inside, it's like, okay, it's already here, not because Pernilla says so, but maybe because, it was in the Gospel of Thomas. He said, the kingdom of heaven is already here. We can't see it, right? So maybe take that one that I took very, very seriously when I heard it first time, where it's like, oh, oh, see, it went down to the felt sense of like, oh, so that's where I want you to see if you can connect with that in you. And then you automatically open up to it. Now, once you do, even if it's just a tiny like, oh, this this is a really good practice to do many times a day. If you can make it just part of your life where you tune in regularly, it's like, oh yeah, it's here. And it always gives me a sense of relief, a sense of peace. Sounds like, oh my God, I don't have to do anything. Because that static that we are surrounded by, that will always tell us that we have to do something. You have to do something to get there, right? And that's not true. So the more we can see that and just focus on the field, on something that is here, that is not tangible to the five senses, but it is tangible to the soul. And it's because it's not separate from your soul. It's not separate from who we are. And it can only be experienced in the now moment, because the now moment is the new earth, is what we want, and it's all that is true. It's simply what is here without that filter or that programming that we keep being identified with. So when I did that walk this morning, It's about an hour long. I really, really recommend you download it. It's a free one he's offered years ago, and it's still available. When you start, because he really has you walk as if you're already in the new earth. So when you do it so concentrated with the guidance, right, it kind of helps you to not get into this frazzled stuff, the veil, and you can keep focusing. It's like, oh, so then he talks about like, well, what does it feel like, when you walk? What is it like? What is it like to walk in this new earth? And then I want to just say a few things about the new earth. It's like there is peace there. There is no war. It does not exist there. There is no greed. There is no quarreling. There's no lying. There's no blaming. There's no lack. You don't need to walk around protecting yourself from others. It doesn't exist in the new earth. It does not exist there. So imagining that you are walking, that you are already in the new earth, where all these things do not exist. One quote comes to my mind from the Bible. It's something like, "No more gnashing of teeth." When I read that many years ago, I was like, that's a weird thing to say. But I think most people, we're like this because we are protecting ourselves from the programming that is covering our true self, the new earth that we are. So no more gnashing of teeth, no more war, no more threats, no more medical pointed needles coming at us, no more spraying of food, no more killing. I mean, all these things, that is what is the dualistic world, the false matrix. And that is why we live in this contracted state. And to practice living outside of that contracted state, it's a phenomenal exercise because when you do, you will start noticing why you're not doing it because like, oh, what about this? And what about the rent? And what about my bills? And and what about the government and the taxes? So you'll notice all that is coming at you all the time. And it simply makes us contract. And when you do that exercise, you will notice it. You can suddenly see what you normally do unconsciously. And then you have a choice, right? When we do something unconsciously, we don't really have a choice, right? It's just automatic. But when you start seeing it, you can go, oh, no, I want to live in this world. I want to walk in this new world and feel what it feels like. And when I did it this morning, there were certain things that were just not ready just to relax. I really just had to be with that a little longer and remind myself, like, no, it is here, Pernilla. It is here. You don't need to, protect yourself from this or that or whatever it is. So it took a little time to just be able to, oh my God, it really is here. So it took me to a deeper level of peace, of relaxation, and of receiving. Because when we really feel that it is already here and the new earth is fulfillment itself, there is nothing lacking. There are no limiting beliefs there. There are no, what should we say, mean neighbors or who knows what. I mean, whatever it is that is here in your face, that does not exist in the new earth. And it's funny, I'm just getting a little reminder here that somebody commented a couple of years ago on a YouTube. You said, like, what planet are you from, right? I was probably talking something like I'm talking today. And it can be very, very hard for most people to accept that. But if we make it into a little exercise, a little practice where we just start practicing walking in the earth that we long for, and then feel who and what are you then? How are you? How do you walk? How do you breathe? How do you think? That is different than in this false matrix world. And then you can start practicing that new state because that is your natural state. So you're not practicing becoming something that you're not. You're simply practicing something you already are, but you have not paid attention to because this static insanity has been bombarding us, and it's been very hard to even get a gap so we can take a breath. So that's what I want to invite you today to just consider that. Just consider, walking in a world where all these things that are scaring us, that are threatening us, where they don't live, they don't exist. Is that even possible for you to take that step just in your imagination? It's like, wow, what would that be like? And then you can see if you even can, because it's like everything anew. It's a new practice where we start practicing living in the world that we are really longing for and that we want to create, but we think we need to create it by using the means of the world we don't want anymore. And that's not going to work. So it's something about learning to put that aside and then focus on what the heart longs for, what the heart knows, what is next for us. And that, of course, is the world where there is peace and justice, connection, and I just have to say it again, no more gnashing of teeth. I think it's such a great way of saying it. So please, my friends, comment below. Let me know if you're up for this little practice, and let me know how it lands for you. How does it feel? What is it? What do you notice that's changing in you when you try this on? Okay, and then if you want to, if you like this, you can like, subscribe, share with your friends, and then I'm looking forward to hearing and reading your comments. If you need help with this, please reach out and we can set up a self-discovery session with you. And you're also welcome to join my next online gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling, because it's really the same. And you can find that in the description below also. All right. Well, welcome into 2026, and I'll be back with you soon.